When we talk about martial arts and actual training,
Yeah.
training isn't what Ping Choi #7 is. It's about how are we using this to combat fear, fatigue, pain, frustration, self-doubt.
Hey there. Welcome back to the FormABLE Podcast. My name is Jamie Sparling from Affinity Martial Arts and Wellness in Wausau, Wisconsin. And I have with me Mr. Chuck Giangreco. He is with Integrated Martial Art Athletics. Correct, sir?
Yeah, integrated martial athletics.
Integrated Martial Athletics. There you go. Sorry about that. So, a formidable moment for me was when I met this gentleman at one of the CLOT camps at the Inosanto Academy. And I felt that a new instructor was going to do things my own way. And he gave me some really good advice about teaching children. At the time, I said I wasn't going to teach children. And he said, well, you'll starve. And he said it with a New York accent, and that hit me. And now I absolutely love teaching kiddos. I'm going to post a video later today that I had sent out to Tim Becker at the Inosanto Academy. That is me and a 10-year-old doing Ping Choi Gua Choi, and he's trapping me up, sir. So it was very, very cool. I never took martial arts as a kid, and I'm really glad that your influence came in and then you had said something at that particular time. Now, I know right now you don't teach children, as is my understanding, right?
Correct.
But at that time period, somebody needed to say it to this guy, and it needed to be somebody just like you. I appreciate you, sir. How's life treating you today?
Hey, it's a good day to have a good day.
Yeah, it
Life
is,
is
brother.
great. And I tell you, when we reconnected, I totally had no recollection of that conversation. I can't lie. And when you messaged that to me too, that, I said, well, I have to amend that because I don't teach kids anymore.
Yeah.
And when I was on Seafood Dwight Woods's podcast,
Mhm.
he had a good laugh. I said, one of the biggest lies of the martial art industry is that you need to teach kids. And I'm like, turns out you don't. But for those of you guys out there who have that calling and are teaching kids, you really do have a great, avocation to create the next generation of formidable, not formable, but formidable young men, young women. So you actually do have a great responsibility. So if those of you guys are out there getting after it, great. I work exclusively with adults,
Mhm.
um, just to, because that's where I feel I make the biggest impact, where you're taking people and showing them what they can accomplish and what they can change about themselves as long as they do hard things. And that's one of the flags I have in the academy,
Mm.
is we do hard things.
Mhm.
And when done right, martial arts is hard. It should be hard.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And because it's a transformer. Yeah, I'm going to stutter with that. So someone's going to edit it or going to go, this guy's a moron, but it's a transformative experience.
No one's gonna say that at all, and it happens. And I mean, most martial artists can't really. We're not so good with any words that have that many syllables. So I thought you pulled it off grand, not for nothing there.
Hey,
But what are you gonna do, right?
yeah.
So, Coach Chuck, I am really interested in your origin story. What brought you to the martial arts, and now how your journey brought you to be the integrated martial athletics.
Yeah. So I mean, there's no great, like, Big Bang Theory kind of moment where meteors hit and all. But I will tell you, and I say it every time I'm asked, I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I mean, like that whole Lou Gehrig speech. I mean, whoever's over the age of 50 is gonna know what I mean. Whoever's listening to this that doesn't know who Lou Gehrig is, I don't know. I mean, I can't help you, but
Google.
Google's your friend. But luckiest man, with the people that I've gotten to train with, and I mean very, very closely train with. and people who have taken me under their wing and mentor. It's a tremendous journey, and I'm so honored, and I carry that weight, as best I can to make sure that, I'm representing them and you know well, because it was my formable
Yes, sir.
moment. And I mean, I started probably about 35 plus years ago. So
Mhm.
I'm 50 now. Uh, Kempo karate at a local school, here in Yonkers, New York, and it was a little bit different. It wasn't, the you know Kempo chop
Mhm.
socky thing here.
Yeah.
Try not to hit my mic, or I've been rebounding off
That
myself.
yeah, that's alright.
Yeah, yeah, not really. But it was almost, it was basically a kickboxing school. They were Joe Lewis and Bill Wallace guys, so I got a good foundation in American rules, above the waist, kickboxing. And at that time, there was a thing that came on, pay-per-view called the UFC.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and you know, and it was a huge event, not just for Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, not just for MMA, but there was so much cool things about it, because now you actually had style versus style. You had Savat guys versus sumo guys. You had all that stuff. You even had, you know, a Silat guy in there.
Yeah.
You had ninjutsu guys. You had everything. So you had a bunch of these things here. So I was like right at the beginning of that, where I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And you're looking at these things build and build and build.
Mhm.
And while thumbing through Black Belt magazine, because that's what we had, back then before the
Absolutely.
internet, I came across an ad for, and this was the mid 90s, like 96-ish.
Mhm.
Um, to me, it seems like a couple of years ago, but it's
Me too.
actually a long ass time ago. And there was an ad in Black Belt magazine for intensive personal training sessions with a guy named Paul Vunak.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had gone out to, Southern California a few times and
Mhm.
started training with Paul Vunak. And Paul Vunak was my first, real foray into, you know, real martial arts, like
Yeah.
real, like martial arts. Because you couldn't get more real than Paul Vunak.
No,
Still
not at
can't get
all.
more real than
Especially
Paul
in the
Vunak.
'90s. If I mean, I've never got to train with Sifu Paul, but I have heard, like, especially in the '90s, that was the time. I saw some videos that I absolutely loved.
Yeah, it's still, and it holds up so well even now. And
Yeah.
it blows my mind that he's posting out there really good shit. Excuse me, really good stuff.
Yeah.
And people are calling him bullshito. And that
Uh,
and we'll get, well, I'm sure we're going to hit on that momentarily as we go further down the
yeah,
thing.
for sure.
But that just boggles my mind, because I mean, he was, he's a BMF, you know,
Yes, absolutely.
straight up.
Uh-huh.
And from that, he always talked about his instructor, Dan Inosanto, and
Mhm.
that was, I guess, the gold standard of everything. And truthfully, it still is, because you couldn't get more of a, when you look up in the dictionary, martial art master, I mean, it just a picture of, Guru Dan Inosanto. I mean,
Agreed, sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
period, and end of discussion.
Mhm.
But we'll get to that later. So, I was, going back and forth to Southern California to do these intensive sessions with Paul Vunak. Uh, and one of the guys I was training with here in New York City was just randomly, because he was connected to my primary instructor and my mentor, and one of my best friends in the world. Actually, it's like family.
Mhm.
A guy named Harley Elmore.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, so and he was, helping put on like a some kind of seminar. It was in So it was 1999, about, yeah, it was 99, in Colorado Springs. So you got to come out to Colorado Springs. I want you to meet this guy that did a big seminar with you know other people. And I met, Harley Elmore for the first time. Yeah, it was 1999. And he had used me for a C-lot demo where,
Okay.
just like was like, Molly whipping me to the floor and locking me up and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy. Even then, I mean, never mind where he is now.
Mhm.
Then I'm like, this is the dude.
Yeah.
This is the guy. And you honestly could not get sometimes, and maybe one day we'll both be on this pod. Two on Harley and I'll both be on this podcast. We'll make you laugh your ass off.
I love it.
Is you couldn't get more different kind of dudes than Two on Harley and I.
Really?
But but yeah, but you know,
I never got to
I'm
meet
bull-
him, sir, so that's great.
you need to go do that,
Yes,
and
sir.
you need and literally every JKD colleague guy needs to train with that man. So we'll get back to that in a second.
Thank you for bringing that up.
So that's when he was Guru Harley.
Mhm.
You couldn't get more different, but we clicked,
Mhm.
and he has been. I've had so many tremendous literal adventures with that man that we joke about. We've been in situations that are beyond, you know, beyond dangerous together, where
Mhm.
I look at him and go, "So this is what we're doing, huh, boss?" And he goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Let's go." We were actually we were joking about that last time we were together, but and Harley Elmore, that was one of my most formidable moments. And I've been, and I went back to New York. That was 99.
Mhm.
And by 2000, I had said, hey, I want to be under you. I want to be your student. And he says, because, his story is amazing as well. He was from the Gibson Academy. He's in that great Terry Gibson lineage. And I'm honored to be a part of that. I mean, never met Mr. Gibson, but I'm honored to be carrying on that legacy through Two on Harley.
That's amazing.
And yeah, so I started going out to Warriors Way in Wichita Falls, Texas in 2000 from New York. And yes, New York is the hub of, everything,
Absolutely.
because
Yeah.
there is no shortage of martial arts in New York, but there was something about Harley Elmore. I'm like, you know what? I'm This is where I'm going. So, and through Two on Harley, obviously that was my way to Guru Dan and Asano. And
Mhm.
but back so I'll just rewind for a second. So I've been an instructor under Two on Harley for 25 years. So I'm a full instructor under him.
Mhm.
And through that relationship and him pushing me and helping me get through all of and this is an interesting thing about, I'm going to bounce around a little
That's
bit,
great.
is when we talk about,
Mhm.
you know, martial arts and actual training.
Yeah.
Training isn't what Ping Choi #7 is.
Mhm.
It's about how are we using this to combat fear, fatigue, pain, frustration, self-doubt.
Mhm.
That is what the mission actually is, not
Agreed,
what
sir.
#7 is.
Mhm.
Not what, um, you know, Sinawali pattern 5 is, or whatever, people talk about is, how to combat those inner demons to make
Brother.
you the
Yes,
best
sir.
possible version of yourself.
Mhm.
So, Two on Harley still pushes me past that stuff. And now that push was to become, now I'm a full instructor under Guru Dan and Asano,
Congrats.
lifelong goal of that. I mean, that is still the gold standard of everything. Um, I'd spent a lot of time with, the Sayak family and Pamana too, on Chris Sayak, and that was also formative.
I bet.
And the cool thing about training that, especially as you get older,
Mhm.
so your perspectives change with your life experiences. So your lenses always change. And the
Mhm.
way you look at things as an older, wiser person is different than when you're a young, stupid meathead.
Hopefully.
So, so yes, one would hope.
Yeah.
If you do it right, one would hope.
Yeah.
And the the lessons from Pomona 2 on Chris Sock that I didn't understand or wasn't ready for when I was 28,
Hmm.
I understand completely now. So there's no such thing as too late to learn things. He was a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous influence. And if you look at, because I'm sure we'll get to it again, is I have differences in the way I teach and the way I look at things. And I'm not going to list them in any order. So when I do this, it's not like first, second, third, and fourth, like who's the number one, but we have to talk about it. Is
Absolutely.
yeah, obviously I spoke about it. One Harley Elmore,
Hmm.
Guru Dan Misano,
Hmm.
Pomona 2 on Chris Sayok,
Yes, sir.
John Shrek McPhee,
Yes.
and actually my neuroscience professor from when I was in college, Dr. Elfawal. So those dudes, those gentlemen have really had, formed, Coach Chuck in the way he teaches, visualizes, learns, conveys knowledge, and helps people. So that's where I came from. Excuse me.
It's like
You
that's
know,
like the root of the mentorship tree for you right there, right? In no
yeah,
particular order, just kind of how it started to grow up is what I get.
exactly.
Thank
And
you.
and I mean, I have other
Uh-huh.
instructors too, but those are the big five.
Sure. Yeah.
Those are the big five. And I look forward to, a, some other burgeoning relationships that I have going because I've met some wonderful people,
Hmm.
um, through John McPhee and as well. So anyway, so that's my backstory. So
That's great. Thank you for sharing that, right? And in the midst of the backstory, I don't think I've had anybody who came on the show that would do it chronologically too
yeah,
much, right? Because there's so much like mentorship and people touch you. And what I really liked that you said was there's some things that you learned earlier in your career that didn't make sense until later.
yeah,
I have to remind myself of that, the Jamie that sat down next to you that you gave that advice to. I was opinionated like, well, these first four techniques are really important, right? But there's 12 for a reason. Maybe my weight's on the left foot
mhm,
and the strike's coming at this angle, and I haven't dealt with it yet. And I'm like, oh, that's why.
yeah. Or if you want to go deeper,
Yeah.
into system structure and function
Hmm.
of whether it be JKD or whether it be
Any system?
any system, and you look and go, oh, so they did it that way because of X, Y, and Z.
Hmm.
Oh, because you couldn't do that with any other blade other than a Zanzibar for sake of argument.
Yeah,
So
brother.
there's a whole piece of that. You have sometimes earned knowledge, and earned knowledge isn't, about, kissing someone's ass or kissing the ring. It's earning knowledge means you put the reps in and fail forward, fail fast,
Mm.
and have experiences and now wisdom to look at things from a different perspective. So
Yes, sir.
then you can look at system structure and function.
Hmm. I really like the way that you put that with failing forward. At our school, quite often, I'll notice that someone will be trying to do a technique they just learned and they're trying to do it perfect. And I think to myself, like, well, probably we got to do it 10,000 times. The first 50 aren't going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So we just got to go through it and lay that blueprint. And I don't want people to stress themselves out over it because then it seems like too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, it's like everyone wants to get, wants to be perfect. Everyone wants to be,
Hmm.
the stud. No one wants to be the pud. But,
True story, sir.
you know, but you have to, you have to do the reps and you have to fail fast and move on and get on to the next step and fail again.
Hmm.
And I mean, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a huge example, of that.
Yes, sir.
Um, you know, and it's one of the it's incredibly incredibly difficult martial art because you kind of can't fake the funk.
No.
You have to be able to do it. Um, that's, a great example of it. So,
It's the
and
essence of failing forward, right, coach?
yeah,
Right there. I mean, it's like, okay, I got this armbar. I just did it 50 times. I reach for him and he chokes me. And then I reach for him again and he triangles me. And well, okay, maybe tomorrow I'll be better. Let me go try and
yeah.
do another 50 and see if there's a detail I missed and hope for
And
the
and like,
best.
people will always say, "Oh, it's about the armbar, this, that." But what happens when you have to change your entire game because you're not 28 anymore?
Yeah, brother.
What happens when you got to change your entire game because you're injured?
Hmm.
And then you have to go through that whole process again of failing fast and fail forward.
How do
Uh,
you do that with a smile on your face, coach? When you said that, you had a genuine smile. And
yeah,
that's something like, I know or I feel that you're somebody that's doing it and not talking about it. And I so the smile just sold it for me right there. And I haven't seen you in 15, 16 years, but the smile's like, "Oh yeah."
yeah, because it's like, like, to go back to what I said before
Mhm.
is, with those poisons that Tuan Harley Elmore talks about, is the fear, fatigue, pain, frustration, and self-doubt, is
Mhm.
you got to meet those head on. And you know, you can't, when I say meet them head on, there has to be inoculations that go to that stuff. So you can't
Yeah.
just, you're not just going to go fight a tiger. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
well, yeah, not in live.
yeah, you're like, all right, Jamie, this is what we're doing today, and go. It's not, that's not what it means. Is that you have to introduce all of those elements in the training in the proper time and the proper temperature to
Mhm.
really make someone where they can be. Because honestly, as people, we don't really have a concept of how powerful we can be. And I don't mean like, a deadlift number, but, how powerful, how impactful, how much of a, leader in our own lives that we can be.
Mhm.
You have no clue unless someone starts showing you and starts testing, gives you the steps to pass each one of these tests. So with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, yes, I'm a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt, and I actually spend most of my time now training and teaching Brazilian Jiu Jitsu,
Mhm.
which is ironic, and because I was known as a Kali Silat guy
Yes, sir.
when we met. And yeah, rebuilding, my body, and we'll get into physical training, I'm sure later in the conversation,
Mhm.
um, through jujitsu and because of jujitsu is a great fail forward thing. And as a teacher, you have to be able to fail forward on that.
Brother,
And
I so agree, and, I didn't bring you on here to give you, like, my opinion or anything, but at the same time, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu just adds a level of grit to our academy
yeah,
that really, really helps in the midst of things, I feel like.
yeah. I mean, it comes under here, like check it out. If we look at the really real world, you got to be able to hit hard and not get hit hard in return.
Yes.
Preferably knock someone out with both hands.
Mhm.
You got to be able to control someone and not get controlled in return,
Mhm.
and be able to at any point transition to a better weapon, a better tool, and a better tactic. And that's, when we talk about Harley Elmore and Warrior's Way, that's what we do. That's what we do. And it is always martial before art on these things. And we look at the buckets of martial arts, martial science, and martial sports.
Mhm.
So, obviously you hear that from Guru Dan all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. This makes a lot of sense because you use the word, integrated. It's really interesting. And you talked about the integration
Yeah,
there in order to combat these five demons, So it's an integration of like body, mind, probably even community, right?
yeah. I mean, tribe. The tribe matters.
Yes, sir.
The people around you matter. I mean, you want to do cool shit with cool people,
Yeah, brother. Yes.
and people who want to and will challenge you better.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. What we um, that's the big piece of, IMA, integrated martial athletics, is the tribe. You know, am I the greatest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach in the world? No. Am I the greatest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt in the world? No. Am I the greatest Muay Thai coach? No. Are my guys, well, I do have some champions. I do have masters, old guys doing old guy jiu-jitsu, world champion here.
That's great.
But that's something I never, ever, ever had a desire to do.
Wasn't
I'm
the
like,
point,
I'm, and
right?
it's weird because I'm sitting here because I think 12 guys, and I say guys and girls. It's my one line, guys. You
Sure.
know, um, competing, you know, uh, next weekend. So I, so yeah, we are, an athletic in doing competition stuff here.
That's
But
great.
I guess I'm old. I just lost my train of thought. So what was the actual
Brother,
question?
you're all good. We just were talking. You actually were just filling us in on
Yeah,
the five venoms, if you
yeah,
will, right? And
yeah,
also how what I saw and I threw out there is how that dealing with those five venoms kind of helps with the integration with mind, body, spirit, community, all those different
yeah. Okay,
things.
yeah, we're talking about
Because
tribe. Yeah,
yeah, we're
and then
talking
we're
about
talking about
tribe,
the
people to
name.
lean on, right? And people to
Yeah,
lean on us.
yeah. I mean, yeah, 100%. And integrated martial athletics as a name, there's no secret sauce to it. There really was less like thought process behind it
Hmm.
and more you know, of a kind of like a legal thing. So check it out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There's usually
Um,
a through line through all those things.
so one of my business ventures, I was part of a fitness franchise,
Okay.
and when we were getting out of that, and we were dissolving one entity, and moving on to the other. They were, we'll leave it, they were a kickboxing based thing. I will give them um, no advertisement
Yeah.
at all. But they could have come after people who are coming out of the franchise
Okay. Yeah.
because if you're teaching kickboxing, regardless if it's Muay Thai or some, you
Cardio
know,
kickboxing. It's
cardio
like the same
kickboxing, yeah.
thing, kind of, in their eyes.
Yeah, did you probably saw like the orb around me, like I'm having a loading moment because I didn't want to curse. So I
Ah,
was having a
it's
loading moment.
okay. That's all
Um,
right. For the cursing or the orbiting
yeah,
moment, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
We're all good here.
So um, and I was going when I left, I had to do a whole different concept. So I was going to teach Muay Thai, I was going to teach Jiu-Jitsu, but I wanted a fitness concept. So I brought my love of kettlebells in. So there's
Uh-oh.
no way that they can come after me for
Yeah.
athletics,
Mm-hmm.
martial athletics.
Athletics.
And that is that's another thing here is for all the, and this is for the instructors too, is like,
Mm-hmm.
you're the example mentally, emotionally, and physically the example. Be in shape. Be in shape. And now I want to, so now, um, a, you know, I've been a personal trainer, strength coach, former physical therapy assistant. I've been in the fitness world, for a long time.
For a
That's
while now.
been my job. That
Mm-hmm.
was my job before I opened the school. There is another guy when he's not in the top five of like the people who are formable,
Mm-hmm.
but he's gonna come into the conversation now. There is Coach Tom Furman,
Okay.
and I actually have this written down. So I have my notes here because he's um, he's been in and around me since an old Warriors Way International
Mm-hmm.
DVD set that, which by the way are tremendous. If they're out there, I think Two on Harley has them all for digital download.
Great.
Get them. So uh, it was the Mafalindo Series One DVD that
Okay.
you know. So Tom Furman, this is when like the internet was, you could like message someone through a like a chat room or some shit.
Mhm.
And he had said that was really, really great. Do you know this series? And over the years we've had interactions, and he'd recently, very recently actually, because of my YouTube explosion, so to speak, and my social media explosion. I'm using explosion. I'm
That's what
quoting.
they call it nowadays. You didn't make it up. You're not tooting your own horn. That's what they
Yeah,
call
no,
it.
I mean because honestly, social media is pretty silly. Um, and he said, "Hey, I think actually, I'm gonna rewind that a bit further back. So like 4 years ago, right out in base, we'd always touch base back and he had said, you know what you should do? You should do a CLOT to BJJ comparison video series. Just like out of the blue one day. I'm like, what?
Huh.
For real? He goes, yeah, you're talented, you're physical, you speak well, you should do it. Here, check out this outline. And I'm like looking at it going, oh shit, that's actually pretty cool. But anyway, so long story short about Coach Tom and I is, we were interacting, and then a few months ago, again, this is going back to, now the YouTube channel is blowing up and all that stuff. He
Mhm.
says, hey, you should let me train you. And I have a laundry list of credentials and all this stuff here. And I'm like, all right, let me, I'll talk. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you. So he calls me up. He's a funny dude. I mean, he's older than me. He's 69. He's still an absolute stud. And he's an old school Guru Dan guy too. So, it's
Yeah.
hard not to like him. And
I bet.
it's hard not to like him. And he is salty AF. And I mean that in the best way. You know, he's a salty OG. And I love that.
I
So I get
get
on the phone with
what
him. The
I'm getting
first thing
here,
I said,
coach, is that you don't wonder what he's thinking.
no,
Like,
not at all.
that's great.
And the first thing I said to him was, I said, Tom, if you tell me I look fat in my videos, it's going to be a very different conversation. And now he said, no, absolutely not. He says, but what if I can help you move like you did back in those videos in 2005? And I'm like, now
Hmm.
you're talking. Let's go. And now
Yeah.
this is again the formable thing here, and I had to write this here. And he says, remember that, you know, you're a martial artist all of your life. You're a martial athlete part of your life, but you should train athletically for all of your life. And I'm like,
Profound.
I mean, that's gold right there.
Mhm.
And, having the athleticism, the work capacity, the strength, the mobility to do all the reps that you're going to need to get good is important. And
Yeah.
again, there's a whole thing of like even C. Joe Bruce Lee would talk about why is it all these old masters, what their chi settle in their belly? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Black belt's
what
disease
the
sometimes.
black belt disease.
Yeah.
And you see that in more often than not. And yes, I get injuries happen. I mean,
Mhm.
I've had a very, very good martial art life.
Mhm.
And but if we start talking about, oh, remember that time, remember this time, remember that time, remember when you were training, you know, these guys. I mean,
Mhm.
elbows, knees, backs, shoulders, necks, hips,
Yeah.
everything is not what it used to be. But you can get a lot of it back. And that's not going to be an excuse not to do the hard work to be in the best shape that you could possibly have. And again, you might be stuck with a bad hand of cards,
Mhm.
but you can maximize that hand and play it to the best of your abilities. So because that's why I tell because I have students, again, all adults from 18-year-old studs up to 77-year-olds. My private lesson.
Mhm.
Michael, who's my oldest student in tenure, he actually was the first one to sign up at my brick and mortar, in 2003.
Wow.
My first, I think, if not the first one, the first five.
Mhm.
Um, and he's 77 now. So he's also my oldest in chronology.
Mhm.
He's, dealing with Parkinson's and spinal stenosis. So his training is not what your training would be.
Mm-hmm.
But the mission is to make him stronger to be able to fight that battle
Yeah, brother.
and have better longevity and better quality of life there. Because strength is the mother skill. I mean, that's, it's irrefutable. Stronger people are more durable, harder to kill, and just thoroughly more useful. And the
Mm-hmm.
stronger you are, the better you can do all these other tasks, whether it be work capacity, aerobic conditioning, durability, be strong.
Yeah.
Lift weights, be strong. And that's, treat yourself like a martial athlete. Even though your career might be a small window, you still have to train like a martial athlete all your life. So, and again, shameless plug for Coach Tom Furman. He's on Instagram and he has a tremendous, his books are excellent and his coaching is excellent. So,
No shame in that plug, coach. No shame
no,
at
I mean, because
all.
here, like, I'll plug the shit out of everything here. 2 on Harley Elmore, Warriors Way International, train.
Train.
Go see them. Go see them. Period. Obviously, if you are interested in shooting, John Shrek McPhee is the man.
Yeah,
Period.
absolutely.
Blade work extensively. The SAG family. Go.
Absolutely.
Conditioning and work capacity. Tom Furman. Go.
Yes.
Those are my plugs. Go do it.
Excellent. We'll take them. We'll take them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Uh, how, and you kind of already answered this. How do you define the athleticism in a martial sense with different cohorts of students, if that makes sense?
All right. So, you mean,
Let
well,
me
it's not cookie
elaborate.
cutter.
Let
Okay,
me
it's not cookie. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, in you brought up you have your 18-year-olds, right? And then you have this and you have that. I'm gonna make an assumption that a lot of them could be in the same class, do the
Mhm.
schedule and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And in the midst of maybe having requirements for a rank or something like that, how do you go about that piece in defining the athleticism of the 18-year-old who came in and now he's 19 and he's in better shape, but so is the 62-year-old who came in and
Mhm.
they're in better shape?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little subjective because that's why there are age categories
Yeah, brother.
in things.
Absolutely.
So, I have, my student who is a world champion in jiu-jitsu
Hmm.
is in the masters division, part of the old guys, old guy
Yeah.
crew. But for everyone there is all about working on their strength, their work capacity, their improving their mobility and maximizing it. Obviously, the 18-year-old is full of go. You
Hmm.
know, the 50-year-old is got less go,
Yep.
but has more, more strength, more wisdom, more. So there's differences in the ages,
Hmm.
but you know I just did my work capacity workout today, long cycle kettlebell long cycle, clean and jerks for time. I always strive to get you know of course I check on ChatGPT what would be an elite number for a 50-year-old 197 pounder, and my competitive ass is going to be trying to hit that.
Yeah.
um, and it's not the same as what it would be for my daughter who's 16 and a competitive Olympic weightlifter. I mean,
Hmm.
she could probably smoke those numbers more so, but that's what it is. It's again, the rep count might be different, the load might be different, but working to that work capacity, strength, and body composition level is a universal across the plane on that. And each class is, like I say, like, this is what we're gonna do is when we're in Thai class, we're gonna hit pads, we're gonna tell jokes, we're gonna do clinch work, and we're going to talk some smack. Jiu-jitsu, we're going to roll, we're going to stretch arms, choke necks, talk some smack. That's you know, that's what we do. It's part of
Yes, sir.
that's the lesson plan of the day.
What how do you balance tradition and innovation? Because my friend,
Okay. So
you seem to be on the cusp of two different things. You got the martial aspect, and then you have the ever incumbent athletic aspect that's coming. And there's new late breaking developments in everything.
okay. So that goes back to my own development is that one of the things we go back to uh, I mean, the adventures I've had with Harley Elmore and with the SOC family. I was part of uh, SOC Tactical Group STG for a time in the early 2000s, and we had gotten to train real life superheroes. We'll leave it at that. Okay, on
Mhm.
both the blue side and the green side, the Avengers and the Justice League, however,
Yeah,
wherever you
brother.
want to do that, and being with those individuals and developing curriculums for them and getting feedback from them pushed my understanding of real martial science on what martial actually is
Hmm.
to the next level. It really informed me about everything that I do, and that was a great learning experience that really made me physically much more capable and then a much more capable instructor, on that. So my traditions might be a little bit different, so to speak, but uh, martial always before art in
Yeah, brother.
anything we do. But that being said, is in my jiu-jitsu class, I still teach the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu self-defense techniques, not necessarily because I think they're the answer to questions, but is because of there is sometimes a rite of passage that you have to go through that will show you something. And because my instructor, my jiu-jitsu instructors, Professor Sahim Grandos and Professor Steve Cardian had me do them. So now you're gonna do them, and you're gonna glean some stuff from them that that I may not see yet, or I'm gonna have to teach it and going, oh, you know what? This is really really good. So I'm not sure that answered your
I
question.
think it was great. You know what I mean? It totally did. It totally did. What I took away was the rites of passage
Yeah.
part, and so often in our culture we don't have a lot of that. And in American culture, perhaps, like as opposed to other cultures, and it's really important to have those rites of passage where it's not about someone would say hazing as much
Oh,
as you're watching somebody do something, come out on the other side and go,
yeah.
yeah, you feel
Yeah.
stronger, don't you?
Yeah. And again, just the way what we teach is we're primarily a self-defense academy.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean like it's, some of these like tactical dudes, in their strip mall, make you do burpees and doing some fugazi, stuff. I'm not gonna name any martial art names on that stuff.
They won't
But
watch anyway.
well, you know, one thing I've learned about the interwebs is there's, you know, never a shortage of people with shotgun mouths
And
and
a
BB gun
BB gun
asses.
ass.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And at least this is a long form because one of the biggest, criticisms of myself is you talk too much. Well, I'm actually trying to teach, so I'll figure out how not to speak when I teach. Um,
That's ridiculous.
but
That makes no
it's
sense.
hilarious.
That makes no
No, dude,
sense.
it's hilarious.
I
One,
watch your videos because I get a lot out of them, and and the real world violence pieces that you do, coach.
yeah,
That's freaking critical. I was thinking
and that's
about you the other day because when we had talked,
now
I
that's a target. So because again, it's like now I train a lot of police officers here. You
okay,
know, both. of on the local and the the federal level. They're in the academy, all the time. And again, we have to train not just for their TTPs, but to make them capable. And again, it circles back around is you got to be fit. You got to be super fit to deal with whatever is going to be happening. Again, you have to be physically capable. You have to be technically capable. You have to be able to go back to what we're saying and be able to hit hard, not get hit hard in return, control someone, not get controlled in return, then transition to a higher order of weapon while
Mhm.
being good enough shape that you can still breathe and think and make good decisions.
Yes,
So you need to
sir.
be, and that's, across the board. Those are the people that I want, you know, out there protecting those who can't protect themselves. So
Absolutely.
we are definitely, a self-defense oriented, gym. Our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is very self-defense oriented. It's kind of old school jiu-jitsu. Obviously, our Muay Thai, Cambodian, Burmese boxing, program is, pretty geared to that as well.
Mhm. Those things play off of each other beautifully. Uh, what role do you think mindset plays in developing the martial athlete at integrated martial athletics?
It's huge. Mindset is huge, and it's not like and people use it as a buzzword in
Mhm.
certain things. They use it,
Just
incorrectly.
change your mindset and everything will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at it as a mindset of emotional control and emotional maturity to go through these things. And again, that the fail forward.
Yeah.
This is going to be hard. We're going to do hard things. To have the discipline to do the work to actually get good. There is a, you know, um, Kung Fu Panda, the movie. Yeah.
Oh, Shifu.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Master Shifu and the turtle, was it? Uguay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are no secrets.
Mhm.
That's pretty true. There are no secrets in is you just need the discipline and the drive to walk that path and train until the martial art, whatever it is, jujitsu, fill in the blank, gives up its secret to you.
Oh, I
So
really like that.
yeah, that's the the thing. So mindset is, there's obviously there's the protector's mindset, but there's also
Mhm.
the student's mindset. There's a whole bunch of hats to wear on
Mhm.
that, but you need to have discipline and emotional maturity before you can be a protector mindset, but also to be a good student because motivation is absolute bullshit. Motivation expires quicker than organic strawberries,
Yes.
but discipline is what's going to get you through the hard times. I got news for you. I mean, I scheduled my day, had my I had, I taught, small group classes this morning.
Mhm.
I had private lessons. I had to go make sure I get my hair cut so I look good on camera for you. I had 25 minutes. I did not want to do, kettlebell clean and jerk long cycle for time. I did not want to do it, but it got done.
Yeah, brother.
And that's, what it is, um, and again, with martial arts in general, uh, martial arts and training, particularly training, has saved my life on more times than I can count. And I don't mean against the mugger. I
Mhm.
mean, training has saved my life more times than anything. And the discipline of training, I've never not trained.
Can you tell
Some
me
people take a
about?
hiatus.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I
oh,
I
I didn't.
have. I have.
Yeah,
A lot of
I've
people
taken.
have. And
Yeah,
well, but could you tell me about how your training in that way has saved your life?
and when I talk about hiatus, I've taken hiatuses, from hey, I haven't been boxing
Yeah.
as much because I've been doing stick work,
Yeah.
or I haven't been doing, you know, stick work because I've been shooting, or I haven't been doing jujitsu because I've been doing, C-lot because there's
Sharpening a
never been a
different
time.
different
Yeah,
part
I
of the
mean,
blade, right?
yeah, it's a different part of the blade because it's funny we talk about jujitsu. I started doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu like in the late 90s. I had a
Okay.
guy who worked for me
Mm-hmm.
who was he was a good, he's a professional jiu-jitsu competitor. And we were talking about things. He goes, when did you start doing jiu-jitsu? I'm like, 97, 98. And he goes, I wasn't born yet. I'm like, oh, and I did that off and on. I mean, uh, I had gotten my black belt finally in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu uh, 2 years ago, actually.
Congrats.
And I tried, and I thank you. I tried to run away from it, but I couldn't be disrespectful to Professor Sahim Granados, because I'm like, I'm not ready for this. And he's like, because you're a brown belt for like a decade. And I'm like, yeah, but he goes, and you teach really, really well. I'm like, well, that's great because at that time my hip and my back were all jacked up, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do what I want to do with it. But uh, you know, again, a hiatus. I digress. But doing things with the intent person making you better, even if it's like, my draw stroke is better today. My entry from this position is better today. My sweep line is better today. Can be the one small win of that day.
Yes, sir.
Because listen, even though I said when we got on here, it's a good day to have a good day. That's a conscious decision
I could tell.
to have
Yeah.
a
Uh-huh.
to
And
have a to have a
it's
good day.
important.
Because
That is mindset.
yeah. I mean, you got to pick out a victory. Like what is it? General Stanley McChrystal's "Make Your Bed"
Yep.
is,
I think so.
and I think it's him. Get one win, and if that one win is you got one more pull up, or that one win is you're that much closer to that par time on your draw and shoot,
Mm-hmm.
or if you now have a better understanding, even how to tackle your deficiencies in a position on jiu-jitsu or position in C-lot,
It's huge.
that's a win. That's a win. And celebrate that. And what I mean celebrate, it doesn't mean go get Carvel or whatever ice cream it is. Doesn't mean crack a beer. It means, pat yourself on the back and go, you did good. Now get to work. Let's build on that.
I like that choke. That's great. How do you think martial arts and athletic training can influence like leadership, professional life, and even parenting?
Before you can kick ass in life, the first ass you got to kick is your own.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not sure who I got that from, uh, but you know, it's true. And whether it be, I believe it was Plato that was no man should ever grow old without realizing the amazement of his body and athleticism. I'm completely misquoting that, but the idea is there.
Absolutely.
Um, and it's also is, you know, be, a savage in the body and a sage in the mind. Again, I'm paraphrasing Plato, so please, guys, don't come at me in the comments.
That's
But
the
that's
one place everybody's going to come at you no matter
yeah,
what,
I
sir.
know, yeah, of
That's
course,
okay. That's, you
yeah,
know what I mean? Hit your like, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
yeah. Um, so to be a leader, you have to have something, be an example of it, and the best way to start developing that with, you know, actually it starts with breathing. So check it out. So, have you ever worked with any of the Machado brothers?
No, I have not, sir.
Okay, you need to. Okay.
I got to do
'Cause-
I did a small workshop with Jean-Jacques Machado at the Inosanto
yeah.
Academy 2 hours before. There was no breathing I didn't even have a gi coach. Okay, I didn't even have a gi. I just showed up, and it was amazing. And when you talked about being a 10-year brown belt, sir, you're looking at a 10-year blue belt.
Hey, that's good, yo.
Yeah.
I was a 6-year blue belt.
I got my purple belt and I started crying. I was like, and everybody in the room, there was quite a few black belts in other systems, and they didn't get it, and I was just like, oh my gosh,
So, purple belt was my favorite rank because you're
really?
kind of like, you're like really good. You're almost a black belt. What I mean was like you're a black belt without seasoning, you
Yeah,
know? And yeah, so it's my favorite rank. But I digress, and this will because we have a shared friend, Marvin Ronquillo.
yeah. What a
So
guy.
yeah, tremendous. I mean, Marvin is so instrumental in being a training partner for me to get good. I mean, he is right up there with. I probably would not be sitting here talking to you without Marvin as my training partner in the early days, and even you know coming back after the shutdowns and also Marvin would come up and we would train and film some content together, and always tremendous. And so on the day I got my black belt, so we have a testing big ceremony because we have people getting promoted to brown, I was me to black and all that. So my first duty, official duty as a black belt is I promoted Marvin to blue belt finally. Yeah. And I mean, where I could not shed a tear while making that speech for Marvin. So
I see the
anyway,
smile, coach. I see it. Yeah, that's great. He is
hey,
such a
people
good
say I don't
person.
actually. A lot of people say I don't smile a lot. So like I think you're messing up my brand.
Okay, it's all
If
right. It's, I'll say
if you keep
something.
making me smile
Oh,
or saying you keep messing up my brand,
that's all right. I'll say something stupid here in a second and irritate you. It'll work itself out.
it'll work itself out. Um, but before I digress, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Just no problem. I go all over the place. I like conversational tone, and I've really looked forward to this for a long time. So if you're getting drawn off a little bit, that's a little bit of Captain ADD going on over here. But uh, martial arts and athletic training and how it can influence leadership.
Okay, yeah. The first ass you got to kick is your own. So
Yeah,
be someone. Okay, the Machados. There we go. Got it. I'm back. I'm back.
you're back.
Is first of all five brothers are amazing, absolutely amazing in their, uh, and they all show you something different. They can show you the same thing, but it's from a different point of view, and it's all amazing. And we'll get back to them in a moment. But if you can breathe, you can think. If you can think, you can escape, and if you can escape, you can go on the attack. So this whole piece of everything there. If you're physically in shape and you can control your body, you can control your breathing, which can control your mental outlook, and you can make good decisions.
Mhm.
So the first thing about leadership is making good decisions. And
Yes,
leadership
sir.
is parenting too. Make good decisions.
Yeah.
And again, we'll go back to you know John McPhee,
Hmm.
and I laugh when we were talking about this because he's writing a leadership book, um, and we were talking about it. We go do jujitsu camps together,
Hmm.
and and someone had asked him, well, what would be the best leadership line that you could um, tell someone? And he goes, let's not do anything stupid today. And I'm like, that's amazing. And again, if you unpack that is good decision making.
Hmm.
And the first good decision is,
Don't
you
do
know,
anything stupid.
is handle yourself.
Yes, sir.
Fix yourself first, and then work on making everyone around you better.
That's gold right there, coach, without a doubt. Even this, just try not to do anything stupid today. Sometimes that could be a basic goal as I leave the house. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
don't know if I pull it off, but at the same time, it's a good
yeah,
reminder that things could go
yeah,
sideways real quick with a bad
yeah.
decision.
Don't do anything stupid today. And yeah, and leadership again is helping everyone get to that goal. Too
Hmm.
is but there's too many people out there talking about leadership and all that anyway. So I don't want to delve into that. But being the best version of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if that's your jam,
Mhm.
is going to be the path to your leadership ability. And of course, there's leadership lessons on how to help other people get their goals too. But the first thing, period, is always be hungry to be the best version of yourself you could possibly be. And again, from from Two on Harley and the SciAx is again the term called kill your clone. And
Mm.
that is, can you defeat the you of yesterday?
Oh,
Are you mentally, physically, emotionally better, even 1 degree or one item better than you were yesterday?
I like that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Absolutely. What I heard before that in my mind was uh, elevate yourself before you think you can elevate the room.
Yeah.
And if everyone does so, the room will elevate itself.
Yeah.
Kill your clone. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's much simpler and better. That's, you know, too many words sometimes on my end. I like to talk. That's why I do a podcast, sir. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Because, like, would, if you had to fight yourself tomorrow, what would you change?
That's what I try to think about, actually, honestly. Not necessarily fighting myself, but what is the next thing? And if I'm getting closer and if the students are getting closer to being to able to whip the Jamie or Julie of last month, then I know we're in the right direction.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what's the biggest lesson martial arts taught you about being a formable human? And I don't know if that's really fair to even ask.
Well, I mean, because, you know, thankfully, my book isn't over yet.
Yeah,
So I might not have had that formable lesson or the ultimate formable lesson yet.
yeah.
Um, so,
So you're still
so I,
pressing on. That's it. That's the
what
rub.
that's what we do. I mean, what else would you do? I mean, you can be, you know, you could be, one of those like fat seminar dudes that come and just shows up and does, Umbrella Six or something like that and doesn't get any better. You're not, any
You're not
fitter.
training. They use it as like a social piece almost sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, why would you not be trying to get better? Um,
I
I'm,
think,
I'm,
uh, well,
yeah,
Coach, honestly, I think almost we talked about that, like the internet and the web on stuff. Uh, a lot of people are much more into knocking somebody down. Let me use these finger muscles here, which I heard in jujitsu, not pushing buttons, okay? But in the midst of it, right? That's one of the things is it's well, let me give my opinion on this, let me give me my opinion on this, and then after a while it's like, well, and that you could have done some burpees, you could have done, or I could have done some
yeah,
squats or something. And so I think
yeah. It's people who aren't doing anything are the first people to criticize people who are doing
yes,
something.
sir.
And and when you look at like videos out there, and it's amazing because do you know have you met Bob Berge?
Bob Berge, no, I have not.
All right, so Bob Berge is he's a Inasano guy, and
Hmm.
mainly he does all the videography work for like Sensei Eric Paulson and all that stuff. And I've known Bob for for a long, long time. And we were sitting at the Inasano Academy instructor camp, and it was just because I'm just getting into the interwebs, on being YouTube and all that. And of course, I'm like, look at what this miscreant said, and I was looking. I said, can you believe that someone had talked smack about Eric Paulson's ability? And he goes, yeah, there's people out there, you know, who are just absolute, clown
Morons.
shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, clown shoes. Yeah. And there was, and again, just to put put it on, because you mentioned the Machado brothers. Uh, like recent, if I find it, I gotta send it to you just for the comedy value
Yeah,
of it.
please.
Um, Master Jean Jacques was doing a something, some wizardry on YouTube,
Hmm.
some just absolute wizardry, and um, Andre Galvao, the super champions champion,
Hmm.
commented below and goes, "Yo, professor, I mean, master, that is amazing. You are awe-inspiring." That's from Galvao.
Yeah.
And then someone below that commented, "That shit's never going to work."
Uh,
And I just sat and I'm like, that's hilarious.
yeah, it is hilarious. Absolutely. Carry the one, divide by two.
Yeah.
Do you think, I don't know. Nah, I'm not even going to go down that road.
Yeah. But anyway, there's you know, keep pushing because because no one is going to, criticize you for being better.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, so I think some people will, but that's okay. That's all right. I mean, that to me is like an anesthetic for them. You know what I mean? Is whatever
Yeah.
that is, that's how they deal with it or whatever. And keyboard warriors are a thing.
Hmm.
What can I ask about your real life violence breakdowns?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because that really got me thinking and got me to reach out to you, and then we had a conversation, and once again you gave me another formidable moment there, in a way, without even knowing it, coach. You had said, well, I told you that I'm in Wausau, Wisconsin, right? And trying to prepare my students as best I can, but at the same time, how did I put it? It's not I have time because it's not maybe as violent as, let's say, other areas of the world. And you just chuckled and you went, "You ain't got that much time, man." And I just thought that was really kind of funny, and it spoke to me as to why you dove into the different things that you did in doing the real life violence breakdowns, which honestly, I know people are going to say things, blah blah blah. It's almost like a public service, coach, because you're taking it in real time and showing what it could look like, how it pops off, and then what we
Yeah,
could
because
do.
here's the thing. And now this was so much, learning came from, Two on Harley on this and with the PsyOx and and all that became just a part of like kind of what we do is we look at these, breakdowns. And
Mhm.
yeah, a couple of the videos that, that hit really, really big, for me. I went viral and on
I remember when you had to take something for that, sir. Now all of a sudden it's the goal.
that was good. I like that. So that was good. Is looking at things again that martial arts and martial sports don't address,
Mhm.
period. And one of the videos I have is a reel, what, you know, the top special forces trainers taught me. And now this was, from, Two on Tom Kyer of, SIAC and SIAC Tactical Group, is there's three things. There's willingness, preparedness, and awareness. So what's it mean to be ready?
Mhm.
Everyone, and I said, everyone there, every Chad out there is like, yeah, I'm born ready. I see red, bodies hit the floor. Oh yeah, I'm a IBJJF gold medalist. I'm a fill in the blank, whatever. If you don't have the three, willingness, preparedness, and awareness, you're going to fail. Willingness is that, hey, in a situation happens, I'm going to answer the bell.
Mhm.
Preparedness is you spend all this time getting skills, striking skills, grappling skills, weapon skills, being in shape. I can't underline that enough. And finally, awareness. If you're not aware, you can't apply the other two things. If you're not willing, you can't apply the other two things. If you're not prepared, you can't apply the other two things. So you're not going to be ready. The thing that's lacking is awareness. Because if you're not understanding what pre-fight indicators are,
Mhm.
and you're not understanding that you might already be in the fight and you don't even know it yet,
Yeah,
you're never going to be able to do that cool guy shit that you think you learned in the seminar.
that's real talk.
That is. And you know, the best defense period, like Mr. Miyagi,
Hmm.
best defense, no be there,
No, be there.
is how do you exit the situation? And again, to go back to, my influences, like I talked about, the influences of, you know, two on Harley and two on Tom Kyer and the Sox. Now I'm going to put, like John McPhee is, you know, sometimes like, when you're just with people, like, a week at a time and you're just hanging out and you're training and you're just there, great conversations come up and every class is an adventure and every adventure is a class.
Hmm.
So, I like the way McPhee broke it down, going, your first line of, defense is always going to be your mouth and your feet. I want to talk and I want to get the hell out of there. And then it might be, mouth and hands get hands and you get out of there. Or it might be mouth, hands, then tools. If he pulls something, you got to pull something, tools get tools, then beat feet out of there. So you have to recognize the situation, learn to de-escalate the situation, and finally engage in the situation if need be. And that's what those breakdowns really are. Because I want people to see what it really is.
I appreciate
Because
that.
some situations that people put out there on video of what they think a real self-defense situation is going to look like might be based on Hollywood, might be based on false assumptions.
Hmm.
Looking at what I put out there, what other people put out there, shows you how to spot tells, how to spot swaying, how to spot body angulation, and recognize that when the fight's about to pop off, whether you're going to be involved in it or you're going to be an observer and learn when to get out of there.
Yeah. Chuck, Coach Chuck, thank you so much for coming on the show. And I really like the way that you described awareness at that point. Um, that is also a buzzword that gets thrown out a lot, and a lot of folks have different ways to look at it.
Yeah.
Being self-aware, right? But also self-aware, I could be in my head and not, well, that
Mhm.
guy's got a knife. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm the sum total of my instructors,
Hmm.
uh,
And your own
current and
work,
past,
and
huh?
your own work,
And my
because
own work. Yes.
we
So,
talked we talked about all that stuff as well today. So
yeah. So, um, for everyone that's like listening, you know, go and train with real experts on things here. I'm obviously a little bit biased on certain things. Warriors Way International with two on Harley Elmore. The blade work with Saya Kali, um, John McPhee. Period for all of your shooting needs and you
tactical
know
needs, maybe.
tactical needs. And I just super fortunately had really met and got to train with you know, Master John Machado, and that is a tremendous experience. So he is also someone that you should definitely look to training for your jujitsu needs. It's though that's going to be um, one of my next journeys into making sure that I spend a good amount of time with Master John as well. So you know you know everyone thank you for listening to me, but you should also go out of your way to listen to my influences and my instructors too, because you may get something even better than I got out of them. So,
That's amazing. uh, Coach Chuck, thank you. I got a lot out of every conversation, which wasn't many, and even the short ones. And this was a true gem to have you on here today and talking about your formable moments. Would you come back and talk with us again at some point?
yeah, of course, man. Yeah. I got plenty of coffee, man.
Yeah, this was lots of fun. This is Jamie Sparling from Affinity Martial Arts, as well as Coach Chuck Giangreco from Integrated Martial Athletics. Check them out on his social media as well as the YouTube. Look
And
for the
Patreon.
and the Patreon. Absolutely. Yes. Patreon is where you offer lessons. Yes, sir?
Yeah, we're going to be actually building a lot of content, a lot of curriculum content, a lot of Filipino martial art, a lot of SEALOT content,
I'm really, really looking
as
forward to that, coach.
well as yeah, yeah, but no, for the Patreon is going to be, you know, SEALOT curriculum, SEALOT training, and full of the FMA stuff, as well as then transitioning to weapon work, as well. So it really is going to be a that's in the process of building because
Mhm.
doing this stuff, being filming things is a full-time job into
Yes,
itself.
it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But please, feel free to DM me with questions and all that. I'll do my best to answer them. I'll get back to you.
We will definitely, definitely, we would love to have you anytime. And when I'm out in New York, I'm going to come train with you, sir. I would like for you to think about coming back to see us as you're building your Patreon to tell our people all about our viewers and our listeners about it and how they can get access to that style of training. Once again, thank you so much for coming on the show, Coach. This is Jamie Sparling for Affinity Martial Arts and the FormABLE Podcast with Coach John Greco from Integrated Martial Athletics. We'll see you next time and be formable. Can you handle that? That's all I want to know. No. Okay. How you doing?